Guys, I just finished reading this book, Why Materialism Is Baloney. It is so good. If this book had a small room for rent, I would move in immediately. I loved this book. Not only did it exceed my expectations, when I heard about this book, I was immediately drawn to it, and I was like waiting, like a kid waiting for Santa to come on Christmas. I was so excited when this book came in. This book seeks to change rational metaphysics. It uncovers the absurd implications of materialism and then uniquely presents, it talks a lot about like how we're more than just physical bodies, that the brain, like current scientific thought says that the brain, like the body and the mind, is nothing without the brain. But we actually can't scientifically, if you put like a brain cap on somebody and try to figure out their subjective experience of what's actually going on in their mind, we can't figure that out with science. We have such a limited perception of how the body works and how someone experiences their own reality through our current empirical, objective way of gathering information about what's happening in the body. That's why in biochemistry, they have proteins, they have the big saying, structure determines function. And a protein can become denatured, just like in Alzheimer's dementia, the proteins of the brain become denatured. And yet there is this term called spontaneous renaturing of the protein. So given the right environment, a protein, a damaged body, if you will, a damaged function, can spontaneously restore itself. And we have no way of explaining how that happens. How can you explain a miracle? You can't, because this world is so magical, it's so beautiful. Our science limits us from understanding that complete capacity. And I like this book because he talks about that. It lays out a coherent framework upon which one can interpret and make sense of every natural phenomenon in physical law, as well as the modalities of human consciousness without materialistic assumptions. According to this framework, the brain is merely an image of a self-localization process of mind, analogously to how a whirlpool is the image of a self-localization process of water. The brain doesn't generate mind, just as a whirlpool doesn't generate water. It is the brain that is in mind, not mind in the brain. Physical death is merely a declenching of experience. This book closes with a series of educated speculations about the afterlife, psychic phenomena, and other related subjects. So beautiful, gorgeous. If you have the opportunity to get this book, definitely read it. If you have if you like Carl Jung in psychology, he talks a good bit about that too. But he talks about how our consciousness, our state of being, is like a whirlpool in a stream. Sometimes water will like whirlpool around itself, and just in the middle of the stream that's going forward, there is just this current focusing of the water going around in this little whirlpool. And it talks about how that's our consciousness, like what we're focused on currently in life is what is in that immediate whirlpool, but everything is available to us outside of this whirlpool. So his talking about the unconscious mind, how, and I always think about this because, there are no secrets in life. Like, you think that you hold certain things away from the minds of other people. That's not true. Some people are incredibly intuitive and can pick up patterns and just information based on if the nervous system is calm enough to be relaxed and still, it can open itself to creative endeavors. It can open itself up to the rest of the stream of consciousness, rather than just being in this survival focused, narrow oriented, myopic, if you will, visual of what is immediately going on in the environment. We could also call that anxiety, because anxiety would be like, or even depression would be like a focusing on something in particular instead of being open and relaxed we are tense and tight. And this is states of the nervous system. Are we stuck in hell, tension, rigidity, dehydration? Or are we open and relaxed to what can possibly enter into our state of being? So anyway, I just love the book. If you have the chance, go check it out. And that's all I really want to say for now. I just think we're beautiful. We don't see ourselves accurately. Just how he talks in the book. He said, you know, I'll read you a few lines, like a few notes, and one of the things was two empty mirrors facing themselves only reflect emptiness. Break the chain of causality. I've talked about that with you guys before. Breaking the chain of causality. You know, you got that one bad habit that you can't get rid of, or those cravings or whatever. You have to consider all the other chains of causality, like all my other habits leading up to that one habit that I'm trying to get rid of, that I need to stop doing, that I know it's not good for me. It's a causation of all these other habits that lead up to that as well. It's a state of the environment, how our biochemistry, how our microbiome is producing these hormones and creating these thoughts, and impelling us towards these certain addictive patterns. Again, it's about zooming out of the whirlpool. And when you start doing that time restricted feeding, where you're not feeding these little parasitic gut bacteria, you can zoom out of the whirlpool instead of being caught up in this same biochemistry, same action, same habits, same patterns. The undressed, naked, amorphous I. You will know exactly who you thought yourself to be. All this darkness is part of me too, so what does it mean? How does what I see relate to who I am? As within, so without. So everything happening in our environment is a reflection and is meant to teach us about our current state of ourselves. You don't have to believe that or agree, but sometimes you'll notice that in life. You're like, oh, everything is going really, really well. And then sometimes things start not going really well, and it's like, I need to change something. I can't keep going like this. A prisoner of its own instinctive unfolding. Our suffering is not redundant. It is part of what happens when we try to figure out what is going on, because we are what is going on. We are like a desperate physician performing exploratory surgery on himself without anesthesia to find out how his body works and then hopefully be able to master it. But the physician feels every slice of his scalpel and every pinch of his tweezers. In his agony, his hands aren't steady, and he sometimes, maybe too many times, slices more than is needed. Since the eyes that sees cannot see itself directly, mind can never understand itself literally. The perennial cosmic itch. All phenomena is suggesting something about the nature of mind. No coincidences. Pay attention. Anyway, love the book. Like I said, I would move in if it had a small room available inside of it. So anyway, I hope this video brings value to you in some way, and I will catch you later. I wish you the best of luck.